Waikoropupu Springs is what we're checking out today on New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year, day 88. New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year is basically an epic challenge that Laura and I decided to tackle a couple of years ago. We have to do 365 activities in 365 days all around New Zealand. Check out today's episode and at the end of the video, catch up with me when we're going to go over the question that you had the first time we published this video. See you then!
It's beach time! As we're leaving Nelson, I insist that we stop at Tahunanui Beach because the sun is shining and this place just looks awesome. Tahunanui Beach is only about 5 minutes drive out of Nelson and it's a super long stretching beach with lookouts all the way over to the national parks in the distance. And this is just a prime example of how close the mountains are to the sea.
But sadly we don't have that much time to spend on the beach because we have a lot to do today. First up, supermarket shopping. But at the entrance we notice a DJ kind of system where we can choose the song that we want to be played while we shop. I've never seen that before. And yeah, we go on with our shopping and start at the fruit and veg aisle when the music starts. We are the Men in Blacks. Galaxy Defender.
Are you seriously saying Men in Blacks? Are you really that bad with your plurals? Is this what it's become?
Next up on our list is to go up the Takaka Hill. This is the massive hill in between Nelson Tasman region and the Golden Bay area. It's a tough, long, windy drive that we have to tackle to our next destination.
Despite it being quite a long drive over Takaka Hill, there's actually quite a lot to see. The views are open, lots of amazing viewpoints along the way, and there's all these basalt outcrops, so it sort of gives a real Lord of the Rings vibe to the place. I expect an orc to jump out at any minute. This is also the only access into the Golden Bay area unless you come here by boat.
But before we check in into our hostel, we have something to check out. So we just arrived at the Waikoropupu Springs, which are located near the little township of Takaka. Now it's a very sacred place here. The water here is said to have some healing powers, and this is such a place of strong beliefs and significance for Maoris that there's a lot of rules with it. You cannot smoke, you cannot drink, you cannot bring food. You cannot take the water from the spring, you cannot touch the water as well.
The entrance to Waikoropupu Springs is really awesome. There's all these Maori carvings and information about the culture surrounding the place, a lot of poems as well. There's really a lot to see here. We are now taking the loop track towards the springs and already getting glimpses of the river with some super clear water in it. So we can't wait to actually see what these springs look like.
And it's not long before we get our first glimpse of the springs. There is a tiny lookout before the main one, right halfway through the track, and we start to get an understanding of what we're going to be seeing today. It's some amazingly clear turquoise waters. Behind another Maori sign welcoming us to the area, we get to walk onto a wooden platform which stands above the main spring. And what a view! Our mind is blown by what lies before our eyes. It's a surreal view. It's almost if we literally stepped out of planet Earth and arrived in an unknown world.
The first thing that grabs our attention is the fact that we can see all these bubbles dancing on the surface, and this is exactly where the water is coming out of the ground. The visibility here is 63 meters, and we can see every little detail of the bottom of the lake here. Every single rock, every single piece of riverweed we can see dancing underneath the surface. This place looks like it's from a fairy tale.
It's another prime example of how amazing nature here in New Zealand. It was stunning. I've never seen anything like that, and I don't think I will ever get a chance to see anything like that again. But it's a short walk back toward the camper van and then a short drive to the Barefoot Hostel where we're staying tonight.
all by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself.
Alright guys, so admittedly it's a pretty hard word to pronounce and all Maori pronunciations are not really that good. So I apologize if pronouncing the Te Waikoropupu Springs in Golden Bay wasn't very well done. I apologize for that. We really try our best and it's really with no ill intentions that we mispronounce items in the Maori cultures. Alright, so let's go over some of the comments that you guys had the first time we published the video. We had Ruth that said, I almost forgotten about the springs. I haven't been there since the late 1970s. Now I'm showing my age, she says. But backpacker adventures aren't just for younger people, us older people love traveling too. I want to go back to Golden Bay, it's a great place. I agree, Golden Bay is a fantastic place and very often overlooked by people because a lot of travelers are going all the way to the Abel Tasman National Park and then they turn down straight away and start heading down south. I feel like exploring Golden Bay is only for people that have a little bit of extra time, but damn, it yields amazing rewards like this springs, which was looking absolutely fantastic. Sean is also saying, we almost have the same collection of antique plush animals by the end of our trip as you guys. The blue penguin puppet, the big kiwi and the Hector dolphin. Yeah, it's pretty easy to buy some puppets a little bit everywhere and some plush toys. Look, we have kiwis over there. He's still here. Even 2 years later after New Zealand's biggest gap year, he's still hanging out with us. And speaking of hanging out, if you guys want to hang out with us as well, we host a live session every single Sunday at 8 AM New Zealand time right here on YouTube. It's the opportunity for you guys to ask us all your New Zealand travel questions and to get the experts of traveling in New Zealand answering them for you. I'm calling ourselves the expert of traveling in New Zealand because Laura and I, we are the writers behind New Zealand Pocket, so NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide. So it's NZPocketGuide.com. There is a link in the description below. It's all free for you guys to use and there is thousands and thousands of articles for you to plan your trip in New Zealand. So if you want to check it out, it definitely is worth it. Keep on going with some of the comments. We have Kayo that asked us if we were allowed to use a drone. So yes, we were allowed to use a drone because we did contact the Department of Conservation to sort this thing out. However, as an individual, no, you're not. You have to get permission from the Department of Conservation to fly a drone in any of the Department of Conservation land. There is a lot of very rigid drone rules in New Zealand, really a lot of laws right here. So we usually advise travelers not to travel with a drone. It's just too complex because you actually do have to apply for a permit each of the location you want to fly in. So there is a lot of them and there is a fee with each permit or most permits. Alright, so I hope that this helped you, Kayo. Alright, so that wraps up all the questions that you guys had about this episode of New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year. I really hope that you guys are finding those episodes both entertaining and, informative enough. The goal that we have with those videos is not to make the most pretty videos ever. Our goal is to mostly make some videos that truly, genuinely show you what all those activities are about. And we want to make sure that at the end of the video, you kind of know what this activity is all about and making sure that you have a good understanding that if you're going to spend some of your time or some of your money on that activity, it will be time or money well spent. Making sure that you are making the most out of your time in New Zealand because we know how much of a commitment it is to come all the way to New Zealand. You have to take a massive flight to come to New Zealand. You have to spend a lot of money to come to New Zealand. So we want you to make the most of it. And that's why we do this live session over there every single Sunday. And that's why we created NZPocketGuide.com. Now, if you want to say thank you for all our hard work, you can hit the like button. It's a great way to tell YouTube that this video is useful and we are nice people. YouTube also asked me to tell you to subscribe because it says that 84% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel, and that's really bad. It's bright and red and a big warning on my back end of YouTube. So if you want to do that and answer the call of the YouTube robots, you can. That's up to you. You're not forced to do anything. In the meantime, keep on traveling awesome. Thank you so much for watching and keep on reminding me that I speak too fast. I always forget. Thank you very much. Travel awesome.